Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on Channels Television. Our continued coverage of the Ekiti governorship election 2026. Let's now turn our attention to security. I'll take you back to Irad, but let me bring your mind back to the incident as was reported by a group of election observers who were monitoring, this election. And I'm being joined by the Commissioner of Police in charge of election security in Ekiti State, Dr. Abayomi Shogunle. It's a pleasure having you, CP.
Thank you very much.
And I must say, congratulations. You boasted, you told me you're going to get it done. Lucky the job was well done. Or something. What do you make of the police performance?
No, quite frankly, congratulations. I think that there were in cases where we saw overzealousness of the security agencies that we've seen in previous elections. But also the police officers were quite professional with the way they managed this process. That's why you haven't heard, even from all the observer groups, that there were issues with security. And I think that they have been very, very cooperative, providing security. I sat in the data center today, and I was shocked to see that, they have deployed security officials to come protect the data center. And my sort of charge to the CP, I hope for subsequent elections we would enjoy this kind protection. Of collaboration and support.
Only
because
us,
we know we have a difficult election coming in Osun. We know the dynamics are completely different.
Yeah.
But I think give it to the police. They were quite professional with the way they managed this. But there are certain incidents that we need to actually do.
So we start with deployment. 98% of the polling unit had police officers at noon.
As a matter of fact, from our own data, this timing should even be like 9 a.m.
You have about 98%.
Yes, that's what we have. And that's one of the reasons why voting commenced at 8:30. I mean, accreditation and voting commenced at 8:30 because police were fully deployed. And how did we achieve this? Most of the police officers that were deployed today actually slept at the rack.
Okay. So easily you could move them?
Yes.
Yeah.
By
it takes
morning,
about 5 minutes or less to move from the rack center to the nearest polling unit. Usually, that's the design actually.
Yeah. Yes, so that's one of the reasons why police officers got to the polling units very early this morning.
That's a big lesson for coming election, isn't it? And there are those who have advocated that go to China, you get it for cheap. There are little camp materials that you can get for these officers because a lot of the times they talk about welfare and you see them sleeping on mats and sleeping in some deplorable situation. It's just a word of advice. I know it's out of your powers and the money from INEC is not enough to get these police officers the kind of comfort that they will need. But I've seen those kind of jumper camp materials where you unfold them and it gives you kind of a bed, a temporary bed that can give you some kind of little comfort to sleep for 4 or 5 hours before the exercise starts. Well, that might be something to consider. If you go to China, it's a good place to get these things for cheap. Maybe you get about 25,000 or 30,000 for a kit of such.
Well, speaking about welfare, CP, I think there's a particular thing that happened today. There were cases of vote buying. Some of this vote buying happened in the presence of police officers. And in some cases, they didn't do anything about it. It looked like there was consensus amongst people in those polling units to allow, the votes. In fact, in the clear view of both the police officers as well as the INEC official. And in fact, some of the observers thought that, come on, what's happening here? We thought that the police should have actually prevailed. And I think that's something that we observed in this particular election. I don't know if you received any such reports.
You see, this is the second time I've heard cases of vote buying. And as a matter of fact, I went to one of the polling units. When I recall that's the polling unit of one of the candidates. I think the Accord Party candidate also. It's widely reported by the media. You know, the first thing, I got a report from the officers on the scene, and the briefing I got indicated that there was nothing as such. But because I know things like this will come up, I went there myself and I interviewed the candidates. What actually happened, he said, okay, that they saw some people, they were giving money, this and that and that. And, you know, I asked him just one question. Do you have a video clip or a picture?
Some kind of evidence.
Short. I'm a law enforcement officer. I'm not a sentimental enforcement officer. I enforce the law. And the law is very clear. He who accuses or alleges must assert. You know, now, the cases you have mentioned, do you have one picture or video? Because this is era of smartphone. Almost every phone has a camera.
But where we have evidence, which I probably will push
forward.
Let me tell you what has happened. In full glare of everyone, people were being helped. You see another voter helping another voter to vote, which is in clear breach of even the entire system and the concept of our voting system, which is the open secret ballot system. One man, one vote. You cannot allow, and police officers were there looking, and and I can send you videos. We caught them live on TV, and they were doing.
Now we are moving into another.
No, I'm saying that in case that there were no evidence of that, I'm telling you of a scenario.
Just to buttress something. Yeah. Right at the polling, the last polling units that you observed, just at the AB center where you visited, there was a polling unit there. And you clearly see that when voters cast their votes, they leave the polling unit. And just right across after the gates, you know, of the event center, that's where they go collect their money. In fact, the last one was, after they had concluded voting, there was someone there who was taking the account numbers of those who had come to cast their vote. And the police officers, you know, were seated right there whilst this was happening. And there are several cases. And I think that we've got to have a conversation really about how do we hold people to account. Have there been any arrest in this particular election of people who...
Maybe we should ask the CP. Are there arrests for vote buying?
Or EFCC, or we don't know.
I will only talk for the Nigerian police force, and as at now, as we speak, there is no reported case of vote buying or arrest.
Brought to your knowledge?
No, that has been reported on our situation report platform. As the Commissioner of Police in charge of this election in Ekiti State, there is no one report yet.
But have you heard about a widespread vote buying incidents?
Of course, but unsubstantiated. I told you about a particular polling unit I visited myself, and I had interaction with one of the candidates. And you see, most of these allegations of vote buying came as a result of arguments. You know, this election, there's a lot of misunderstanding, arguments between supporters of different candidates. And one of the things the one party will try to bring up is this issue of vote buying. But shame between me and you, we know that it is very, very impossible for something to happen and somebody will not have a video or a picture.
But I told you,
vote buying.
Yesterday, you know, I told you.
Then how do you prove that in court? How do you prove your case in court?
I told you yesterday. Yeah, Tippy, I told you yesterday that this guy have gotten so sophisticated. In fact, once they and there's a way, and that's what I was saying yesterday. I quite not been able to figure out how we're going to deal with it, but we've just got to find a way to deal with it. Those guys have gotten so sophisticated. They no longer give cash, because gone were the days where you apprehend them
But today they
with
give
cash. No, in some places, I mean, those are places where they give cash. Guess what? How do you then also arrest them when you didn't arrest them around the vicinity of the polling unit? So you see the sense in the sophistication.
Shewa, I understand that part, but listen, for what I saw that happened today, now the police is an intelligence agency. It gathers intelligence. And if there is commitment, and we all agree that this is a menace that needs to stop, when your attention is drawn to the fact that, one, these voters, when they finish voting, there is a certain pattern that we see. They leave the polling unit and they go somewhere. My expectation and the expectation of every Nigerian is that the police will activate their powers to really go and check what is really transpiring. Or if someone is collecting account numbers of people at a polling unit, the question is, why are they collecting the account numbers of those at the polling units?
That's not the way the law works.
What about instances where they're collecting? But you can see people
the issue is I mentioned about the sophistication that when people are collecting and collating account numbers, when they are not giving cash, when they ask you, they give you a tally and you go meet them 2-3 blocks away. These are modalities that they have taken to be able to get the vote bought or sold.
Well, moving forward, if there's any case of vote buying, bring it to the knowledge of the Nigerian police force. We will investigate.
But see, the point about evidence, and the truth is, there were people, and you talk about sophistication, it's also the resistance. It's not easy for people who, there's cases where you and I know that people were threatened for bringing up their phones to video such things. We've seen where people have been battered and they've been assaulted just because they bring out their phones. And so, for people who want to capture those kinds of moments, there has to be restraint. Again, you're also dealing in an era where there's a lot of regard for data privacy. You can't just remove your phone and start taking pictures.
No, somebody committing an offense has no data privacy. For somebody committing an offense.
CP, let me ask.
But just and those who are trying to capture it need to think about their safety.
CP, and I wanted to ask. I see that most of your officers were more gentlemen and gentle ladies of the police force. I think what they were waiting for is to settle the quarrel and make sure that there are no guns, no shooting, no violence. But they were onlookers where there are some clear breaches. For example, where people are aiding and helping others to vote, and they were there just looking at them, and nothing was done. I think that there's a need for more awareness, don't you think?
You see, regarding people being helped to vote, we know the level of literacy in this country, and some people would always need assistance, and that's why the INEC staff are there, and that's why the party agents are also there. Some people would always need assistance. As long as the person who is being helped is not complaining, and the party agents there that knows that this person needs, most of the person that needs assistance are aged people. Some of them cannot see clearly. Some of them cannot see clearly.
We understand for aged people and those who are living with some disabilities, but those who are clear young people who really do not need as much help, there are specified people according to the guidelines who can help. Not a co-voter helping another voter. It's totally not allowed. Maybe that understanding is not there, and that's why I'm bringing it to the notice. Where maybe Oshu is next. That when our police officers, kudos to the fact that your officers did a good job in calming the city and the state, but the fact remains that some of these things that are a big question mark on the process, your officer, and the law is now tried, that the fact that police can arrest at any point in time, you do not need to lay a lodge a complaint for election offenses. That has been established.
Arrest when you notice an offense being committed.
You know, there was a time,
elements.
CP, that police would tell you, we don't have the powers to do this, we don't have during election offenses commission. The law has been established that the police have the power to effect arrests, to prosecute on electoral offenses.
To effect arrests on an ongoing offense that is being committed.
And to also carry intelligence.
And for
because the police is not just prosecuting, it's also an intelligence agency, isn't it?
I think what I will try and put up something, probably yourself or Samson or both of you together. I think I will put up a day like open school for you to come and go with us so that you have an understanding of how policing. Otherwise, if we follow the approach you are saying, honestly, the way we will just be picking people.
We're talking specifically about electoral process.
Electoral offenses.
That's what I'm saying.
And usually election offenses are in public glare. Like a breach is a breach. There's nothing you want to do about.
Most of the cases you are talking about, the elements that constitute that offense has not happened.
We've seen in this country where people literally carry ballot boxes and they run away.
One of the persons that tried that was arrested. Today.
So let's go to those incidents. So there were 4 reported incidents as reported by the group of civil society organization. 24 reported incidents of violence across 10 LGAs. How much of knowledge of this do you have, sir?
The issue, the one I just mentioned, happened at
in Ekiti West.
One of Ekiti Southwest.
Okay.
The guy came to the polling booth. He picked up the ballot papers, the ballot box, and ran away. So the police gave him a very good chase, and he was discovered. The ballot was recovered from him.
Is he in your custody now?
Oh yes, okay. Since afternoon when he was arrested. And despite that, voting still continued in that places. Mm-hmm. In Nigeria, 4 different allegations came up. We checked and we discovered that it never happened. So I don't know if
maybe it's counted into the 24.
Yes, if it counted into the 24. As we speak, just about 6 cases were reported.
6, not leading to arrest?
Only 1 arrest has been made. That's the one with the ballot box. Mm-hmm. The 6 cases are not all cases of snatching of materials. Mm-hmm. It has to do with alleged harassment, assault, and related cases like that. But only one is connected to electoral materials.
So how many people do you have in custody based on electoral-related offenses?
Just that one.
Just one person?
Just that one.
So all the cases in Emure, Ikole, and Oye, Ilejemeji, and those...
We can actually furnish those reports from the election observation partners.
Yes.
All right. With a specific polling unit where these things are.
All right.
I'd like to ask you, I don't know if you saw, it's a very popular social media person. Isaac Fayoshe is Ayo Fayoshe's younger brother, who went on social media earlier today, and he made some very strong allegations and claims to the effect that he said the PVCs that were collected were PVCs that were collected by a certain political party, and they used the political parties, gave it to non-indigenous or non-residents of Ekiti State for one purpose, to be able to make them vote by giving them money. And he posted a video. Are you able to? Were you able to see that video? Did you see
Which of the? Is it the video that some people sat down?
Yeah.
Somebody
and someone was giving out PVCs.
Does that look like PVC to you? That video?
No, I'm asking.
No. I'm also asking.
I'm bringing it to your notice because it is now everywhere.
It's everywhere. We have seen it. What that person was handing out, does it look like PVC?
What does it look like?
Can you bend PVC like complimentary card? Can you bend PVC into 2 and still open it again? You know? Then again, when you listen clearly to the conversation underneath, it has nothing to do with voting. You know, so as I said yesterday, we need to verify everything that everybody is pushing out. Some people are pushing out some of these things because they just want to make money from the social media companies. We need to verify everything. For God's sake, how is it possible? Look at the verification mode. We also the verification mode, your fingerprint, your facial recognition. Come on. How is it possible to just hand over a PVC to somebody who's...
So as the Fayoshe's claims were baseless as far as you're concerned.
Then where is his location? Where is his location? His elder brother voted in the same community. He didn't observe. People who are in that community did not observe what somebody who is on like 9,000 miles away is observing. Come on, let's talk about real issue. You know, we understand people were not expecting this election to be peaceful. That's just the facts. They were not expecting that this election would be itch-free and will be concluded without any serious incident. Most people were not expecting it, and that is why we will see a lot of misinformation after this election, because people never thought this would happen. In fact, I've heard on radio program of old women that called into the program say that they are going to do Thanksgiving tomorrow in churches because they had a peaceful election in Ekiti state compared to the last election where two people were two homicide cases related to the election, and that even on election day, in most cases, people don't even go out to anywhere because of the fear, because of the different violent incidents that happen in the days leading to election and on actual election day.
Yeah. So can we maybe also confirm, you know, there was a reported incident yesterday about this altercation between the army and the police that led to a stray bullet.
What can you tell us about that, CP?
Did that really happen?
Yes, what happened on that, before going into that, I just want to, you know, I told you somebody was arrested. It was at Aramoko, Ward 3, Orisumbari, and this is the picture of the guy with the ballot papers. This is the picture of the guy with the ballot papers. You know, so that's the only arrest.
Arrest that has been made. One arrest so far known up until this moment related to the election. But there were other violence or criminal or crimes that were committed in the state within this period.
That's related to
non-electoral offense or violence related to the election.
Of course, in any community, in any society, there will always be crime.
So what I'm saying is that maybe these 24 incidents were non-election related.
When we see the details, we will get them. Then another thing I'm suspecting is that, you know, multiple organizations are reporting these cases. We're most likely going to see one or two cases being reported by 3 different platforms. But by the time we see the details of each case, we will know that, okay, this case is the same case that 4 different platforms are talking about.
But this is actually aggregated. So it's aggregated by the several organizations. So they are all distinct cases. So we will furnish you.
CP, tell us about the post-election security plan, because a lot of the times there is the pre-election, the election phase, and the post-election. A lot of the times you see an election that was peaceful, but few hours or days later, there would be violence and reaction based on the outcome of the election. What are your plans? Have you strategized for the post-election era?
Okay, I think we skipped one question regarding the arson, right?
From yesterday.
Yes, just to confirm that, you know, that case has nothing to do with the election. what happened in it was in Oye. I'm trying to pull up, and if you can help me with the name of the town. That Ekiti. Yeah. You know, there was actually a football match in the community, and during the football match, differences came up between two different groups during the football match that led to skirmishes between two different groups. Of course, the police responded, and in the course of police responding to that incident, there was a gunshot which the victim gave up the ghost, and that caused a kind of tension in the community, which resulted into burning down, not even burning down, partial burns on the police station building. You know, and immediately that incident happened, when it was reported, containment and de-escalation measures were immediately put in place, because we don't want it to affect voting for today, even though it has nothing to do with the election. And thankfully, the efforts worked, and voting was conducted in that community today. In fact, I visited 3 of the polling units, one just around that area, adjacent to the police station, one before the police station, another one after the police station. Voting actually took place. So that incident of yesterday is not politically related or related to the elections. Now, moving to the issue of post-election, post-voting security arrangement. You know, now we are now at the collation stage, where most of the. Then let me quickly say regarding the results that are yet to be announced. I can confirm to you that all results have arrived at the INEC designated area.
From all of the 16 local governments?
From all of the polling units. They are going to the local government now.
Yeah.
The local government collation center. So what I'm trying to say is that there is no voting ballot papers that are outside of designated collation center as we speak.
They are now in the LGAs for LGA collation.
Where they will be collated. So there is no fear about those ones.
Okay.
Are they gradually we're going to see them. Okay. I'm not speaking for INEC, but I'm speaking
based on
my role. We have helped them to gather all the ballot papers to where they are supposed to be collated.
In the 16 local government areas.
Yes, so none of them is safely is missing. They are safe. Okay, so now we are now focusing now on collation of results, and we have more than enough armed guard. For unlike the polling units where we didn't deploy armed police officers, collation centers now we have deployed adequate police officers, because this is one of the most important periods. If anything happens to those results, then that means all the running about that we have been doing in the morning comes to nothing. So the results are well protected, and collations are ongoing at the different locations. And with the way things are going, we are going to have results from the total result from some local governments coming in before 12 midnight. With the way the collations are going.
Thank you, Dr. Shogunle. I really want to thank you for coming. You said it yesterday, you were very proud of what planning that you have put in place. But you even sound more boastful now that at the end of the day about what you've done. And I want to say congratulations to you and your team. No life is lost as far as we know. and hoping that nothing violent will happen going forward, at least to secure the lives and property. Where things go wrong, we say it, but when you do good, also when you do your job, we also want to applaud you. Thank you so much indeed for your job. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. If I may just quickly add that the election security management framework that we have now is the same thing we're taking to Osun, and God willingly we are expanding it, you know. So we have also made, if you look at that would be conversation for another day. If you look at the deployment today, you will see that in most cases we have only police officers.
Yes.
So I don't want to tell you what we are trying to use that to test again.
Okay.
So when we get there, we'll also talk of
Dr. Abame,
congratulations.
he's not just a police officer, he's an academic also.
Yes,
But thank you so much indeed, and I wish you and your team the very best.